y'all, I am Hope here at Crafty Hope, and welcome. It is time for my week 8 roundup of ICAD. So I've got information about what ICAD is below, and these are just quick videos of what I did. If you want the full videos, I do have a Patreon where you can become a subscriber there and see the full videos. So the prompts on day 50 are clouds and mesh, and thinking about those two prompts made me think about cheesecloth, and that how it is like fluffy and meshy at the same time and would be really nice. And I ended up deciding to use this rust dyed cheesecloth that I had in my stash as to run across the card. I honestly kept thinking that I didn't want to use a whole bunch of cheesecloth on this card because it might like take away from the background, but by kind of making sure it didn't extend all the way to the top and still ran across the card, I think I did a pretty good job of getting it in there. You may not think of it as like clouds, but it's just what inspired me. And that's what's great about those prompts is you can take them any way you want them. So I ended up stacking up some assemblagey things and coming out with a great card. On day 51, the prompts are OG or Paisley and your favorite green. So once I got some really nice collage down, I came in with some, this is an olive green light ink that I love the color of. It looks really bright in this video, but it's not really that bright. This is from Amsterdam if you're looking for it. I'll probably have a link to it below if I can find it. So once I got that all dry, I used a stamp that kind of looks like an OG pattern, not completely, but close enough. I also used Rustic Wilderness Distress Oxide because that's probably my favorite shade of green distress product. So, you can see here that once I got the stamping, I tried to pull out some of the ink from it. It didn't do so great on here for some reason, so I did use the Distress Oxide spray to add some splatter to the background of this one. And yeah, this is a funky little card. This all was just background because you can see I added this fairy to the top of it once I got those prompts down, and you can hardly even see some of like the OG on the back. Now, the prompts on day 52 were gyroscope and ball, and I decided that those just were not springing anything, weren't giving me any kind of inspiration. So instead, I started with some really funky collage. In fact, I scanned the background of this for my Patreon subscribers so they will be able to get this. I'm going to probably have it up in the next day or two for them because I'm trying to get like one more background. After adding a little bit of some mark making in there, I got real obsessed with wanting to have numbers on things. So I used all kinds of stuff to get numbers. This is one of the printables I have for my Patreon subscribers. And yeah, I was just cutting little numbers on top of, I've got the collage and then some marks, and then I'm going to add this additional collage and more marks. And this was when you don't have a prompt, you've kind of got like a world of opportunities. But a lot of times I do rely on those prompts. But this came together, I don't know, really beautifully. On day 53, the prompts were calligraphy and Arial. I only used the calligraphy prompt, and this is how I used it. I grabbed this Elegant Writer calligraphy pen. It's from Speedball, and used it to do some mark making, and then once again pulled the ink out to kind of blend it and grunge it up. And that was after I did, you can see, a bunch of collage and some other things on the background of it. But the real star of the show of this card is the focal that I end up pulling together using just some rusty fabrics, buttons, a rusty washer, and a found sentiment. And this one I just really love. Just these elements in particular are some of my favorite things. You can see that, rusty washer. I go and get one of my little jars. That's one of my little jars of mother of pearl buttons. But and I stitched all those down. So if the Patreon thing that I've got going on is June and July was going to be ICAD. In August, I think I'm going to try to do some art journaling, but I haven't made a full decision of that. But if you do become a subscriber, you'll have access to all of the downloads. Well, on the Crafty paper tier, you have access to all the downloads and the iCads that are already there. So just so you know, and it's just a small fee. So, but if you can't, it's no big deal. You can go check out all of these iCads also on Instagram along with the videos I have here. So day 54, I think you saw the prompts were river and something purple. I used both of those, y'all. I hardly, in fact, Nina made fun of me. This is her prompt, was the something purple. I hardly ever use purple in my art, but I did put down some of this mauve paint. This is the Lucas acrylic paint in mauve. And once I put another couple layers down, I'm bringing river into this by creating a river between these like weird little rolled up paper, I don't even know what you'd call it, paper strips I'm putting down there. I put down several layers of these strips that I'm inking up, and then once I glue them down, I'm kind of pulling up the edges. There you can see the river that's running down this, well, not quite the center, but down the middle of my card. And this was an interesting one. I love the texture that I was able to get with that one. It was so good. And those prompts, I really was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with those, but I did it. I got both of them in there. Day 55's prompts were cloverleaf or roundabout and watercolor. So this is how I only brought in watercolor, and this is how I did it. I used some of my Prima Metallic Accents watercolors through a Tim Holtz stencil. This is actually a technique I was inspired to do by watching I watched Dee Dee Catron did it in a video that's on Nina Fickett's YouTube page. They had a collaboration for Stencil Girl, and I saw Dee Dee do that and was like, oh my gosh, I really want to try that. So I did that. The focal for this is another one of the printables for June. It's a vintage photo I have in my stash, and y'all, I love this girl. She's from like 1914, 1915, somewhere in there, and so she's wearing like one of those old bathing costumes, and then the guys in the background are just kind of like leering around her, staring at the camera. I don't know. I love this photo, and you can absolutely have it by subscribing to Patreon. I think I'm going to open up a tier that's just the downloads. So if you're interested in that, let me know, because I think I'm about to set that up. Now, the last prompt, the last card of this week is card 56 with the prompts cactus and email. I did not use the email prompt, but the cactus prompt had me pulling out these cactus skeletons and cactus fibers that I received from Nina Fickett. She sent me those just, on a whim. And they worked out so perfectly to add just some really luscious texture to my cards, or to this card. It's I can't wait to use some more of these bits, but I had to combine them because I couldn't decide on just one of them. So I'm giving y'all a quick look at that. Now, I did a bunch of collage and, all the other stuff. I do the cards in the background. But one of my favorite things is that I cut out just some found words from an old large print novel. So I picked out the words explore, delight, and enjoy, and I hope that that's what I have inspired in you by showing you these quick little snippets of that. I hope you were delighted by this, enjoyed it, and that it inspires you to go out and explore some of your materials and things that you've got in your stash. If you have any questions about any of this, about Patreon, about ICAD itself, just let me know. I'm here to answer questions, and if you have suggestions or anything else you'd like to see from me, let me know. All right, guys, thanks for coming and spending this time with me. I really appreciate it. I will see y'all later. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more. Thanks. Bye.